Somewhere in the middle of the ocean, there's an island that feels wrong, not in a bad way, in a magical, how is this even real kind of way. The beaches glow at night. The rocks hum when the wind passes through them. And somehow, most travelers scroll right past it because it doesn't show up on any mainstream top 10 islands lists. But once you step foot here, you start questioning if you're still on Earth. Stay with me, because I'm about to take you to one of the most otherworldly islands I've ever seen. A place untouched, unfiltered, and almost unbelievable. I first heard about this island from a fisherman in a harbor that barely had Wi-Fi, where the air smelled like salt and diesel and the boats looked older than time. He spoke in that calm, certain way people do when they've seen things you haven't. You won't find it in the guidebooks, he said. People come here and never want to leave. At first I laughed. I thought it was one of those local legends meant to tease tourists, a myth, to make the coastline feel more mysterious. But then he pulled out an old phone. The screen cracked, the image grainy. And there it was, emerald cliffs rising from the ocean, wrapped in silver mist, and a lagoon glowing neon blue under a full moon. That picture didn't look real. It looked alive. A week later, I found myself on a small boat with an engine that coughed more than it ran, slicing through waves that shimmered under the sun. The horizon was empty. No cruise ships, no private yachts, just the open sea. And then, slowly, it appeared. An island that looked like it had been pulled out of a dream. No resorts, no crowds, no souvenir shops. Just raw, untouched wilderness, cliffs rising straight out of turquoise water and palm trees bending as if bowing to the wind. When we reached the shore, the first thing I noticed wasn't the beauty, was the silence. No music, no chatter, no background hum of technology. Just waves breathing against the sand, birds echoing through the jungle, and a kind of stillness that felt ancient. It was the kind of silence that hums in your ears, the kind you don't realize you've been missing until it wraps around you completely. And in that moment, I knew this place wasn't just another island, it was something else. Something the world had forgotten how to create. The moment you step onto the sand, it's as if your senses have been dialed up to a higher setting. Everything feels exaggerated. The colors, the sounds, even the way the wind moves through the trees. The sand isn't just white, it's silver. It catches the sunlight in a way that makes it shimmer like powdered glass, every step leaving behind a soft, metallic glow. And when the tide rolls in, the water reflects it, turning the whole beach into a sheet of liquid light. The ocean here doesn't settle for one color. At sunrise, it's pale, turquoise, gentle, and transparent like morning air. By noon, it deepens into sapphire. And when the sun begins to fall, it transforms again, glowing crystal violet, as if the sea itself is breathing with the day. Then there are the cliffs, jagged towers of black volcanic glass that rise like broken mirrors from the jungle floor. Centuries of wind have carved them into impossible shapes. From above, the locals say they resemble enormous sleeping figures. That's why they call them the sleeping giants. Standing there, you can almost believe the cliffs are alive, ancient guardians watching over the island. But the true wonder of this place doesn't stand above the ground, it hides beneath it. Deep within the cliffs are caves, vast echoing chambers filled with freshwater pools so clear they almost don't seem real. When you peer into them, you can see your reflection twice, once on the surface and again on the stone beneath. It feels like standing between two worlds. The air inside is cool and still. Every sound, every drip of water, every breath echoes like a heartbeat. It's the kind of silence that makes you aware of your own existence, as if the island itself is listening. I'll admit, standing there I felt small, not in a fearful way, but in awe. It was a reminder that beyond Wi-Fi signals, city lights, and crowded beaches, there are still places that belong entirely to nature. Places that remind you how much of the world remains hidden, waiting quietly for someone to notice. There's only one village on the island, tucked between the cliffs and the jungle, where the sea breeze moves like music through the palm leaves. Fewer than 300 people live here. No hotels, no cars, not even streetlights. Just hammocks swinging on porches, hand-built homes painted with seashell dust, and the smell of coconut smoke curling through the air. Life here moves at the rhythm of the tides. Morning begins with roosters, not alarms. Children chase crabs along the shore, while elders weave fishing nets that have been used for generations. When the sun climbs high, everyone gathers under the same tree, sharing fruit, laughter, and stories that sound half like myths and half like memories. They welcomed me as if I'd been expecting, smiling, barefoot, eyes full of that calm you only find in people who truly know peace. Instead of questions, they offered fruit. Instead of small talk, they shared stories. Stories about how the island protects itself. They say that when too many outsiders try to come, the sea turns violent. Winds shift. The currents change. Boats drift off course, as if the island itself decides who's ready to find it. And somehow, that made sense, because everything here feels alive. The jungle hums, a constant vibration of life, from insects that exist nowhere else on Earth. The air itself feels charged, like it remembers every storm and every whisper ever carried across it. Then comes night, when the ocean starts to glow. Bioluminescent plankton swirl beneath the waves, lighting up the water like a living galaxy. Every movement, every fish, every ripple paints trails of blue fire across the surface. You stand there, staring, realizing that nature doesn't need filters, algorithms, or attention to go viral. It just is. Raw, infinite, undiscovered. And for the people who live here, that's the way they want to keep it. One night I climbed the cliffs before sunrise. The air was cool, heavy with salt and silence. Each step echoed softly against the rock, the island still asleep beneath me. When I reached the top, I looked out, and for a moment I forgot to breathe. Below me was nothing but an endless ocean, dark and smooth like glass. Above a sky so thick with stars it didn't look real. It wasn't just a sky, it was a mirror of light, stretching forever, touching the horizon in every direction. The world felt both enormous and intimate, like it was whispering a secret only I could hear. And then it hit me. This island isn't hidden because it's hard to find. It's hidden because we stopped looking for places that make us feel this much. We chase convenience instead of connection, notifications instead of stillness, Wi-Fi instead of wonder. We scroll through sunsets instead of watching them. We collect photos, not memories. And somewhere along the way, we traded magic for comfort. But standing there surrounded by nothing but wind and stars, I realized something simple. The world hasn't lost its beauty. We've just forgotten how to notice it. This island didn't need to prove anything. It didn't need to impress me. It just was whole, quiet, and sure of its worth. And maybe that's the lesson it was always trying to teach me. If you're already imagining yourself there, good. Because the truth is, getting to this island isn't as complicated as it feels. You just have to know where to look. There are a few ecolodges, small, family-run places tucked between the cliffs and the jungle. No fancy check-ins, no pool bars, no background music. Just wooden cabins, ocean breeze, and a quiet that follows you like a friend. Local guides, the kind who grew up here, run small adventure trips. They'll take you to the caves, to the hidden freshwater pools, even to the glowing beaches at night. But they'll also remind you this isn't a place to consume. It's a place to listen. And yes, it has a name. But you probably won't recognize it. Most travelers scroll right past it, chasing hashtags and hotel stars. That's why it's still untouched. Yes. That's why it still feels like another planet. Before I left, the fisherman who first told me about it gave me one last piece of advice. He said, "If you find it, promise you'll keep it wild. So if you ever do, leave only footprints. Take only stories. And remember, not all treasures need to be found by everyone." Maybe that's what travel was meant to be all along. Not a race to see more places, but a way to remember how to see it all. 'Cause standing there on that island that time forgot, I didn't feel like a traveler or a tourist. I just felt human, present, a small heartbeat in something far bigger than myself. And it made me realize the best places on Earth don't beg to be found. They wait quietly for the kind of person who's ready to slow down long enough to notice them. So if you ever reach that hidden island, don't rush. Don't film every second. Just stand there. Listen to the waves. Let the silence remind you what peace actually sounds like. Because once you visit a place that feels like another planet, you'll never see this one the same way again. And if you love discovering places like this, you'll want to see my next video, the island where phones don't work but nobody cares. It's the story of a place that doesn't just help you disconnect. It helps you remember who you are without the noise.